Is rolling. Okay, good evening, guys. It is 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, Tuesday, August the 11th, 2020, and this is it. This is week 6 lecture. Of course, Sunday, you know how things are gonna go. You get your assignments in, and then the course will end after that. So we're going to get right into it. Get started. Let's get into, okay. So all this information you're familiar with. And you can see this is it. Lecture 6 today and for week 6. All right. So let's go right to the course calendar for the last look. Course calendar is here. And oh, you see all those other classes. Let's get them out of there. Okay, let's take them out for now. Okay, we took it out. So you see where we are right here. Week 11. Week 11. I'm so used to those 11 weeks. Week 6. And this is where we are today. So your reading started yesterday. Your initial post is due tonight, 11:59 p.m. Central Standard, Constitutional Rights. And then your reply post is due Saturday, 11:59 p.m. And then, of course, all of your assignments are due for the week on this Sunday, the 16th, by 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. That is it. That is it. That's the end of it. Doesn't go any further than that. And so you want to make sure that you get all your assignments in by that time. Okay. Let's get to closing the course tools. And let's go back. Course home. And let's look at the final week announcement. So for in this week, we're going to be dealing with the media and the courts. We've kind of been dealing with media, but we're dealing with the technology that's involved now. As you know, cameras are now in the courtrooms, and with social media involved also, you got all those different things. Open justice or open season, developments and judicial engagement with the new media, complete the activity, reality television, and the criminal justice system. Got a lot of that. And then reminding you about your final discussion topic, constitutional rights, which is due tonight, and then your reply post due Saturday. Your written assignment, justice, is due. And I did say this, and I said this, that anyone who has not gotten their week 5 project in, I will give them until that final week, because some people had problems uh, connecting with people, and I let people know that they could do that if they called me and reached out to me. And I'm not taking, and you may notice, I take points away from late assignments, but I didn't take points away from late submissions with the project, except the first week when you were supposed to be starting it out. but after that I didn't, specifically with the last couple of weeks. So anyway, that's to help you guys out. And then Sunday is it, as I said, and the quarter officially ends. It's as clear as day in the announcement. If you don't look at the announcement in the um, rubric, I mean not in the rubric, in the lecture, you see it on the page. It's on the home page. Complete the end of quarter survey if you could, and we'll go from there. So now let's take a look at week 6. Okay, see our assignments, which you see are only one, and then your discussion assignment. Justice delayed, you're going to read this article, and then after that you're going to write a 1 to 2 page paper that deals with each of these 5 bullet points. Synopsis of the case study, including the issue and the results, how the media coverage affected the outcome, and then discuss whether the public's right to know superseded right to the victim uh, or defendant's privacy. Explain whether you feel the outcome of the case would have been different if there was no media coverage and why. And ensure that your paper is in APA and check for spelling and errors. Some people missed the APA aspects of it when they did the that paradise thing, but every one of the rubrics mention APA, so it's very, very, very important. It's a habit that I'm trying to instill in you guys. All right, so here's the rubric, which is due Sunday. Brief synopsis, it tells you get 35 points for that. You get 25 for explaining the media coverage. You get another 25 point dealing with the public's right and the victim's privacy, and then 25 points to describe whether you feel the outcome would have been different. Um, I mean, rather, if there had been no media outcome, you get the 5 points. So it's total of 90 points. All right. 5 points for your grammar spelling. Make sure it's one page. Remember, it's APA double space, Roman 12, cover sheet, reference page. I shouldn't have to tell you that though now. And then, of course, your APA sources, of course, and everybody knows no Wikipedia, but I just say it anyway. So, any questions about that assignment? I think it's pretty straightforward. Any? You can type in the chat box if there are any. I don't see any. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. So let's get into the module itself. Talk about the lesson content. Okay, and you can see this information here. We're getting ready to talk about reality TV. Well, first of all, number one, one of the most uh, revolutionary things that has happened as far as the criminal justice system is opening up the courtroom to the media. The media has always had access outside the courtrooms uh, and maybe even in the lobbies of the courthouse. But with the fact that now we have social media and now we also have the internet. We didn't just get the internet, but the internet is allowed. Do you know though that I know in our jurisdiction here that we can't take our cell phones in the courthouse. The only ones allow, and even lawyers have to put their cell phones um, away as well. But cell phones are not allowed in the courthouses in our jurisdiction uh, with individuals. Um, do you guys know? Do you have any rule like that in your jurisdiction that you're aware of? Do you know? Yeah, 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 no phones allowed. Yeah, and one of the reasons for that is because of the fact that now phones have cameras and those kinds of things. So they don't want the public doing this. And so now, as I said before, with the internet and with social media, um, individuals can get the news really, really, really quick, and that with social media, the news is disseminated very, very, very quickly, and their statuses in real time about noteworthy events and so forth. In fact, just to show you how things are, uh, today Joe Biden announced his candidate for vice president, Kamala Harris, and I can tell you that just like when I was working with the Obama campaign, we knew who his running mate was by getting text messages because we were on the inside. So we were able to utilize that. But now, if you hit the Facebook or you hit any of these medias, my phone is blowing up with information about the vice presidential uh, partner that was chosen. And, I am one of those people who I'm excited about it because she's an African American, but I like her too as well. And there's a lot of people in California that really like her as well. Otherwise, she wouldn't be a U.S. senator. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the election coming up. But social media allows the public to get the news, um, and then they can share it. You can pass it on. Of course, though, there's some bad things that social media has done, and social media, for example, a couple of nights ago here in Chicago, we had major, I mean, major disruption in the city over a police shooting, um, which was ridiculous because the police shooting, from my investigation, was a justified police shooting of a 20-year-old who was shooting at the police. So what were they supposed to do? They shot and they didn't kill him. They wounded him. And so some of the people took that as a thing to put out a lie that a 14-year-old was actually shot by the police, but that was not true. And then um, off to the races, there were some individuals who posted on Facebook um, that they were going to meet up, and that's how that whole thing was organized using social media. And so there are people who were on that were really doing things that really got irritated me, and I posted some stuff on Facebook about it, saying that this was done as another demonstration of how police um, can take advantage of youth in the African American community. This was not that. But I'm saying all this to say that that's what the public can do utilizing uh, social media and put out false information. And they even had a few people on there saying that this was done in the name of Black Lives Matters movement. Untrue, totally, absolutely, positively untrue. But it's like I said, um, it's when stuff reaches out and it's disseminated real fast. and social media allows that to take place. So look at what LexisNexis said in a study on the impact on the following information. 67% believe social media clips solve crimes more quickly. If used responsibly, that could be the case. 87% of the time, search warrants utilizing social media to establish probable cause hold up in court when challenged, according to respondents, um, because of the fact that it's a difficult thing to get a search warrant to check someone's media account and things like that. But I know for a fact that law enforcement, because I go to seminars, is able to monitor what people post on social media, such as these idiots who hold up money and guns, and their location is opened up on their phone. They're able to be tracked easily. Close to 50% of respondents use social media at least weekly. I would, I'd say, I would say it's up higher than that. Would you think that it might be 50%, or would you say higher? I'd say higher for sure, because we're in a digital society, as we discussed in this class, and everything is digital now. Technology, even those people who, for example, who thought said, "Oh, I don't know on those online schools if they're going to work." Well, now everybody's trying to get an online mode going because of the pandemic, and it may be the new normal in the future, the thing that launches it. But the point of the matter is that I think it's probably more than 50% at this particular time. I don't know how old this study was, but I think it's got to be more than that now. Only 10% of respondents learn how to use social media for investigations through formal training given at the agency. That is up. I know that's up because every agency now that I know gives some specific training on how to use social media. As I was talking about a few minutes ago, the Illinois Chiefs of Police every year give a seminar, and there are companies that are hired that allow the use of social media uh, and for formal training. I referred to an incident that happened in Illinois near where I am. It's a town called Aurora, Illinois. There's an Aurora in Colorado, but this out of Aurora I was talking about in Chicago area, and it's very close to me. Was able to catch a lady who was selling um, uh, drugs in her car because of the fact that they were able to um, track her, and she was selling the drugs out of her car in a place where some people might not look, and it turned out to be the parking lot of the police district. And so they figured it out by her location, went down to her, arrested her, wanted to search her vehicle, but she said no, but they got a quick warrant and was able to, electronically get a search warrant, search it, opened it up, and there was plenty of drugs in the trunk, marijuana. I mean, big loads of it. So social media is being used, as I was talking about a few minutes ago. We're able to now investigate gangs because, like I said again, they like to brag about what they can do and put things through social media, and they use it quite a bit. Um, Lack of access and familiarity are primary reasons for non-use. 70% are unable to access social media during work hours. Well, uh, that's changed to a whole lot as well, because a lot of jobs, for example, like for example, I use social media all the time with my job teaching and working at Rasmussen, because we're online and I post things, and even during the um, community development, community service day that we had on the 21st, I believe it was, of July on Friday. I did a 3 hour session on Facebook Live talking about all kinds of issues. And so, because of the pandemic, all of us had to do things virtually, but I chose to do that. And so those numbers are up. And so, what is it? The media is able to feed into these CNN, CNBC, everybody's, even the local stations. You can now go to social media and find out information concerning what's going on in the world. And so the question comes out is that, is it difficult or virtually impossible to find people when it comes to dealing with um, a trial? Is it possible to find a jury pool that is not affected by the media? What do you think? Anybody else? Adam, what do you think? Yeah, it is harder. But you know what? One of the good things that the media does in terms of sharing information is that when individuals come in, they have hopefully been able to uh, get some details that maybe support the evidence. And this thing called unconscious biasness that can develop within an individual, where an individual can subconsciously take a position and then maintain that position no matter what the evidence says, um, that could be determined by the media or the experiences those individuals have in life, such as um, I talk about the instance of my daughter um, being selected in a criminal case on a jury, which is just amazing because of her father being a criminal defense lawyer, being a police officer, and a prosecutor, and also because of what happened with her grandparents, my mother and father. And then, not to mention what has happened with my adopted mother, that I don't talk a lot about, when she was a victim in 71 of kidnapping and shooting. And so she was able to be selected on the jury and hung the jury. In fact, they retried the case. And then they, they made the mistake of selecting her as the foreperson in because she was outspoken. I don't know where she got that from. That's a laugh out loud. My wife says, "I know where she got it from," you know. But anyway, the point of the matter is that she was very firm in her position. And so the point of the matter is that is this the same kind of thing that happens with the media? Is the media overstepping their boundaries? Read the article. Read the article, and you'll get some conclusions. But it's ironic. The article is from 2012, um, but uh, that's 8 years ago now. And, that was right, within the period of the O.J. Simpson case, which was actually 94. So it was like about a few years after that. So, but now it's a whole 8 years since that time. So anyway, the media also has some good things that we absolutely probably could not do without, and that is the ability to help us solve crimes that would not be solved otherwise. And so, you know, this article that we talk about here, trials and other entertainment, there's a positive aspect of the social media that the media uses, the news media, and so it demonstrates that, yeah, it plays a large part in society. That's because it's like air, it's everywhere, and it's like a natural part of existence here. And so somebody once said that if a person wants to get a trial um, with individuals who don't know, they're probably heard anything, they're probably have to go to another planet. Well, soon as people start hitting that planet, that's going to change too. But then, how could you go to a planet, or either let's put it like this: if you went to another country, uh, maybe they may not understand the system of justice that we have here. You do know that we have the best system of justice here when it comes to trials. Other countries in the world, they have more kangaroo courts, as we call them, than you ever want to realize. And so uh, the key thing is that because of individuals like we were talking about, Nancy Grace, Geraldo, um, and you've seen TV shows like Dateline that come on NBC, 2020. You guys are familiar with those shows, right? You familiar with those? Dateline and yeah, and what about 60 Minutes? 60 Minutes was one of the first ones. I remember 60 Minutes have done a number of investigation on issues, political as well as dealing with cases where individuals are able to put both sides on, and you're able to hear. There used to be a TV show called Point Counterpoint, which is supposed to have a balance between the two sides. So, so the key thing is that information is everywhere. That's the whole thing in a nutshell. And so you find yourself in the situation where you can't avoid it. You can't get away from it. Even people in the mountains, or either I would imagine that if you took years ago, I don't know how the Amish are now. I know how the Amish used to be. They didn't know about um, what was going on in the world because they didn't have electricity, they didn't have TVs, they didn't read newspapers and all of that stuff. But then again, uh, those individuals, you would have troubles subjecting them to trials as jurors as well. So, because of religious beliefs that I'm aware of that would be impacted. So the basic thing is that let's accept it. Media is here to stay. It's not going to it's not going to decrease. It's going to increase. And so before we close, I want to, as this paragraph says, talk about the relationship between media and the criminal justice policies, which I kind of, if you've been around here for the last 6 weeks, recognize that's all we've been talking about. And so it says here, just many individuals are captivated by crime in our criminal justice system. The public's knowledge is a result of media issues and concern with twin trends and offenses that the media bring out, and that uh, with the media, law enforcement is under the scope of media, and because now everybody has practically one of these things that has a camera on it, Uh, yeah, and right now it's funny because my phone right here has a little thing here, and it's telling me that my local news station um, has um, ABC reports that I can click on, and it tells me different things like that. So the point of the matter is that if there's a big trial going on, a public trial going on, individuals might be able to get their information quickly delivered to them, even on their cell phones, laptops, uh, iPads, and so forth. So it says here the relationship found between media's portrayal of the police are, and how they are perceived in the public eye differs. Some media portray the police in a negative way and some in a positive way. Well, that's not the police. That's everybody. That's the same way that they do. They draw conclusions in a negative way about how they can conjure up information to conclude that a person did something or said something before you actually can have a chance to get to the truth. But one of the things, though, that uh, media has done is expose some of the activities when it comes to law enforcement, i.e., George Floyd, going all the way back to the Rodney King, one of the first ones that we can recall, where the media exposed what happened in law enforcement. But the truth of the matter is that um, some of the investigative shows that you might look at that I should say consider itself media will doctor up and change what actually happened in reality for to sensationalize the thing, such as I don't like to, for example, some of those Lifetime movies are good, but if they're Lifetime movies based on actual cases that you may be familiar with, they're going to sensationalize them for ratings. And that's also one of the things that media is guilty of. And the other thing that media is guilty of is rushing to judgment because they want to be the first ones to get the information out. You've heard it said. You heard it here first on uh, whatever, or either have you seen those situations where uh, you're watching the news and all of a sudden they're talking about the weather, and then all of a sudden something pops up says breaking news. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, well, they'll just jump into bam to what is going on, and they'll give her a perception about what's going on, why something is taking place, and then, like I said, um, uh, draw conclusions. Like for example, the whole thing. I'll go back to what I said about what happened here the other night here in Chicago. I had to do some digging to find out what really happened because what the coverage I saw from the media is that the people are saying that they were rioting because a 14-year-old had been shot. Okay. And that's what the media was showing people saying. However, I got some very reliable sources that were not law enforcement that provided me with credible information that later on the media caught up with and demonstrated that it wasn't that at all. It was a simple job. And we're not going to come to a time here, good people, where I hope that people, every time the police fire a shot at a youth, particularly if it's an African American youth, that it's believed that the police are doing something wrong. We're not going to do that. We're not going to stand and allow that to happen. And the media has to be very, very, very serious and be careful about uh, investigating their sources of information uh, And then if they do say, and then one of the favorite phrases of the news media is based upon something that their legal department tells them. And does anybody know what that phrase that they use? You know? Do you know what it is? You hear it all the time. How about alleged? Alleged. Have you've heard them use that a lot? And the reason they use that a lot is because they're covering themselves uh, because of the fact that they don't want to be saying that they're saying something that really happens. So they use that to also cover themselves as well. Lawyers tell them to say that. That's because, you all know the presumption of innocence until proven guilty in theory. But anyway, that's a whole nother discussion we've had before. So the police are dependent also on the media to get information out to the public to help them maybe catch someone, like the Amber Alert, or either you've seen like people breaking and those kind of things, and they'll catch them on cameras, and then they'll say, if you know this person, you know, let us know. You can call in anonymous. They have tip lines and things like that, and bring individuals to justice. So there are media pictures that are put on, or videos or camera shots of individuals committing crimes that have been solved because the media exposes those pictures or videos on television. So the bottom line is that the media can work with the police or work against the police. And the media can work on behalf of a defendant, or they can work against. Northwestern University has the Wrongful Conviction Project, which deals with individuals helping those when they've been wrongfully convicted by providing lawyers and so forth. But there is another little known program that operates out of Medill, which is the School of Journalism at Northwestern University. And they do what we call investigative reporting, and they will conduct investigations working with some of our local media and help them to solve crimes and things that take place as well. So so what are we going to do? Live with it, and again, hope that the media will operate in a professional, responsible way, so that we will be able to recognize. So, okay, so that's all I have. I want to say um, before I adjourn, it's been a real blast these last 6 weeks. I've enjoyed having this class and having you guys in class. Thank you again, peer leader, for your support from day one, helping out when we needed help here, and certainly appreciate it. And again, uh, I I will be happy about a few things. Uh, uh, you're welcome. I will be happy about a few things when they do some things to um, update. Um, I'm laughing because my phone I got a text message, and it says, Richard, it appears that your phone is exposing personal information. Scan yourself and remove malware for free now, and it gives some link. I'm deleting that. A lot of people take those and they scan their phones, and then you're in trouble. So you have to watch out for that kind of stuff. But anyway, so it's been a pleasure, and I do hope that if any of you guys, maybe I'll see some of you in other classes. If you haven't taken constitutional law, I teach constitutional law. Sometimes I don't know when it's going to come back around again. It might come back around in the fall. And have you got either of you guys had constitutional law? Okay, Adam, you have. Were you in class with me when I had it? Yeah. Okay. All right. So I like that class. I thrive on that one because it gives me a chance to deal with. I love the Constitution and applying what it means. And okay, you have it in October. Oh, okay. Do you know who the teacher is going to be in October? Because it could be Jerry Lee, it could be me, it could be, I'm trying to think who else teach constitutional law. It's one other person. But Jerry Lee and I are the main two that teach constitutional law. So I enjoy that course. I really enjoy it a whole lot. So maybe I'll see you then. We'll see. Well, all right, guys. I owe you a final key uh, phrase. So what do you think? What you think it should be? I already know what I want to give. Allegedly. That's a smaller portion. There's a bigger portion though. I don't think I used this before either. Nah, that's a smaller one. Social media. That's what this whole thing was all about today, dealing with what social media does. So you give me that phrase, because I was trying to think, it sounds familiar, but I don't think I did that. I think I did use something close to that. But social media is dead on what the topic was about today. So, all right, guys, I will let you know this, that don't worry about your grades. I'm still I'm working on getting out your grades, and I will be working this week to get them finished in the next few days or so. Most of you guys are doing pretty good. Again, don't worry about the project. If you are still having problems with the project, don't hesitate to reach out to me though. Don't wait till Sunday to communicate with me. Don't wait till Saturday because I'm going to be really busy Saturday. I'm not going to be doing any grading Saturday because I got something I got to do. And then, but let's make sure. But I think you guys are in pretty good shape, the two that are in here with everything that has taken place here. All right. So good night, guys. Again, stay safe, and I'll see you up the road. Oh, one last thing. For those of you, I always say this, be sure to reach out to me as the one student had already done if you need a reference for any type of possible opportunities uh, in your professional criminal justice area. So feel free to reach out to me and I will accommodate. Right now, one of the problems I'm having is getting into the building to use the stationery that I use, but I have had phone interviews where I've done since the pandemic, and then I've also had some where they sent me a link to fill in the information on the link. And I've done those kind of things. So, all right, guys, good night and take care.